Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we are profiling 10 strikers who are set to explode onto the scene in 2020. Let's get started. 10. Rodrygo. When Rodrygo signed for Real Madrid in June 2018, no one could possibly envisage the impact he has already had. After all, he was just a 17-year-old winger who had played just 41 matches for Santos. But just 16 months on, the 5'9" forward has exploded to life in the Spanish capital with 5 goals in his first 9 appearances. But while strikes and comfortable victories over Leganes or Osasuna are to be expected, no one foresaw his performance against Galatasaray in just his second Champions League game. The 18-year-old, who was recently called up to the senior Brazil squad for the first time, scored a perfect hat-trick, becoming the second youngest player to do so for Los Blancos behind Raul. And his manager Zinedine Zidane, who himself only ever managed one Real Madrid hat-trick, was in no mood to dampen expectations after, saying that whilst physically he can get better, technically he knows how to do everything with the ball. For an 18-year-old to adapt to a new country, overcome a month-long hamstring injury and hit the ground running like he has is mightily impressive. No doubt Rodrygo will continue to go from strength to strength in 2020. 9. Mason Greenwood. The least surprising name on this list, there is no way that we couldn't include 18-year-old Bradford-born forward Mason Greenwood on the strength of his performances so far. The Red Devils Academy graduate who has 4 goals in 16 appearances this term has long been talked about as a future United and England star, and so far is living up to the billing. If you think this video is living up to the billing though, just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a video. Currently averaging a goal contribution every 122 minutes in the League and Europa League so far, his best performances have without doubt come in Europe's secondary competition. He backed up his 73rd minute winner against Astana on his Europa League debut with another goal and an assist against Partizan Belgrade, helping to seal his side's passage through to the knockout rounds. Currently averaging more shots per 90 than Salah in the Premier League, Greenwood, who has scored in every competition he's played in this campaign, has been one of the few bright spots in an otherwise underwhelming United season. 8. Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah might seem like a strange addition to this list. After all, the Arsenal striker, who is on loan at Leeds for the 1920 campaign, is yet to start a game for the Yorkshire-based club. The Lewisham-born forward arrived at Bielsa's Leeds with quite a reputation. After all, this was a striker who had scored 27 goals for England's youth teams in 29 appearances, and was good enough to make his Gooners debut aged just 18. But unsurprisingly, with Aubameyang, Lacazette, and prior to their departures Perez, Welbeck and Iwobi ahead of him in the pecking order, Nketiah was limited to just 8 Premier League appearances, in which he scored 1 goal across the 17-18 and 18-19 campaigns. With Bielsa's first-choice forward of Patrick Bamford playing 86% of the available minutes so far, Nketiah has had to be satisfied with a place on the bench. But the young striker has certainly made the most of his limited minutes, with 3 league goals in just 276 minutes. 3.9 shots, 1.6 key passes and 1.3 dribbles per 90, Nketiah is ready. Marcelo, please play him. 7. Anderson Silva. There is no way that we couldn't mention Famalicão forward Anderson Silva in this rundown. Signed by the Northern Portuguese club in July 2017, he could only manage 10 goals in his first 50 league games, as his side earned promotion to the top flight ahead of the 1920 campaign. But so far so good for the Brazilian in his first top-tier season, with 6 goals in 11 Liga NOS games to date. But he has had to be largely satisfied with a place on the bench, with just 1 start and just over 250 league minutes so far. Currently averaging a goal every 42 minutes in the league, he's been a crucial reason behind Famalicão's superb start to the season, with the underdogs already netting 24 times in 12 games and only losing twice, one of which to 28-time champions Porto. With Silva firing off 5.8 shots per 90 and the promise of a big January for the club majority owned by the same group here in Atletico Madrid, Famalicão have a great chance of finishing in the Champions League spots. 6. Jarrod Bowen. For a 22-year-old Hull City striker, Jarrod Bowen has a lot of experience under his belt. Currently playing his 4th season of senior football, just 6 years on from playing in the Conference Premier with Hereford United, Bowen is ripping it up in the Championship. As it stands, only Alexander Mitrovic with 15 has topped the diminutive forward's 12 strikes at the time of writing. This is the 3rd season in a row that Bowen has reached double figures in the league. And if he continues at this current rate, he'll end up on 30 league goals, a tally that hasn't been reached in the division since Glenn Murray for Palace in 2012-13. Crazy fast with unreal anticipation, he's great at making space for himself, with 3.5 shots per 90 up from 2.1 in 17-18. Of those efforts, 1.8 are from inside the area, more than Harry Kane and Aubameyang are managing in the Premier League. Having failed to set the world alight in his 178 Premier League minutes in 16-17, Bowen's true test will eventually come in a top tier. With Hull currently 5 points off the playoffs, Tiger fans will be praying it will be with them in August 2020. 5. Diego Rossi. Whilst the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Carlos Vela and Josef Martinez have once again grabbed most of the headlines in the MLS in 2019, it's actually Diego Rossi who appears to be the most desirable player in the division. The 21-year-old Uruguayan, who can play across the front line but predominantly featured on the left for Los Angeles FC in 2019, contributed 17 goals and 8 assists as his side topped the Western Conference, only to lose to Seattle Sounders in the Western Conference Final. But this isn't the former Uruguay under-20 international's first year of lighting up America. Signed from 50-time national champions Penarol in December 2017, the forward contributed 18 goals in 33 games. This means that despite his tender years, only the aforementioned Martinez, Zlatan and Vela have been involved in more than Rossi's 43 league goals in the last 2 seasons. With 3.3 shots and 1.5 key passes per 90, Rossi is already playing at a top level. But detractors will point to his 1.9 dribbles per 90 at a 44% completion rate as evidence that the relative novice, who has only played 3 seasons of regular first-team football, isn't ready for a move to Europe quite yet. But what's for sure, they'll certainly be watching. 4. Karlan Grant. The performances of Huddersfield striker Karlan Grant from January 2019, after signing from Charlton for £1.5 million, were one of the few bright spots in an otherwise painful Premier League campaign. The Terriers went through 2 managers, won just 3 games all season and finished with 16 points, the 3rd lowest tally in the division's history. But Grant instantly showed that he was able to mix it with the best. On just his 2nd town appearance, he scored against Arsenal and backed this up with a goal against Cardiff and a brace against West Ham. Despite their relegation, Grant could hold his head high, having scored 4 in 13 and produced an expected goals ratio of 0.34 per 90, more than Son, Mahrez and King this campaign. And the drop to the Championship has unsurprisingly not affected his form. Despite Huddersfield's struggles, which sees them 19th at the time of writing, 22 points off automatic promotion, Grant has netted 11 goals and provided 2 assists in 19 appearances. 2.1 shots and 1.5 key passes per 90, it's little wonder that the 22-year-old is currently averaging a goal contribution every 131 minutes. Grant has an enormous future ahead of him, but with a transfer value of just £4.5 million, he might be a worthwhile gamble on for the present. 3. Myron Boadu. Myron Boadu is far from a household name at the moment, but the 18-year-old's performances for AZ Alkmaar in the last 15 months demand attention. A regular whenever available, the striker has only played 42 senior games for the coastal club, but that's mainly due to 2 long-term injuries, seeing him miss 68 Eredivisie games across 2 seasons already. His record when fit though is absolutely outstanding, with 12 goals and 6 assists in just 21 Eredivisie games, of which just 18 have been starts. As if an average of a goal contribution every 81 Eredivisie minutes isn't impressive enough, with only Dessers, Malin and Promes scoring more than his 9 league goals at the time of writing, the forward has also shone in Europe. AZ are unbeaten as it stands in Group L of the Europa League, and no victory away at United will secure their passage into the knockout stages, and that is primarily down to their young striker. 5 goals, 4 games, 2 assists, only Bruno Fernandes has more goal contributions at this stage. Valued at just £6.8 million, Boadu needs to be snapped up ASAP. 2. Gonçalo Paciência. Gonçalo Paciência had a hard task going into the 1920 campaign. 1 year on from being shown the door at Porto after 4 loan spells in 3 years and then signing for Eintracht Frankfurt, the Portuguese forward was tasked with replacing Sebastian Haller and Luka Jovic in Adi Hütter's Frankfurt side. This was going to be no easy task. After all, the duo's 32 league goals and 14 assists had propelled them to just 4 points off a first top 4 finish since 1992-93. But so far so good. After being given just 388 minutes of league action in 18-19, he's already played nearly triple that, with 6 goals and 1 assist to show for his efforts. With goals against Bayern, RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen already this season, Paciência has shown he is a man for the big occasion. His phenomenal form was rewarded by a 2nd international cap and a 1st goal last month. Having operated at least 0.7 expected goals and assists per 90 for 15 months now, we are sure another move and more international recognition will follow in 2020. 1. Arkadiusz Milik. Amidst the chaos of the current Napoli situation, in which club president Aurelio De Laurentiis threatened to get rid of the likes of Dries Mertens, Insigne and Koulibaly amongst others, there was one notable name that wasn't mentioned: Arkadiusz Milik. That is because the 25-year-old Pole has recovered from a slightly slow start following his €35 million transfer from Ajax in August 2016, in which he scored 14 goals in his first 40 appearances to become one of the key men in Naples. Milik has backed up 20 goals in 47 games in 18-19, including 17 league goals, a figure only topped by 3 players, with another 5 in 6 league games this term. That might not sound like much, but throw in the fact he has missed 6 games through injury, and those goals have come at an average of 1 every 86 minutes, and you suddenly have a serious striker. Currently operating at 1.34 expected goals and assists per 90, a figure only topped by Mbappe in Europe's top 5 leagues, and valued at just £36 million by Transfermarkt, clubs should take advantage of the partner pays situation and strike immediately. So guys, that was our list of 10 strikers who are set to explode in 2020. Did I miss any out? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!